Gentlemen, the battle of the Kickstarter is over. The battle of DCS World War II is about to begin. Also, keine Sorgen, Schweiber. We actually did it, you guys. We actually did it. We not only reached the base goal, we actually put in a whole new flyable aircraft into DCS World War II. That is just an amazing result. I'm recording this a few hours before this goes online, so I don't know the exact total as of the end of the Kickstarter campaign, but I think we can be really proud of the results. We did really well. I am extremely happy. We actually managed to put in an extra flyable aircraft into the game, which is exactly what the Kickstarter was designed to do. And it also did something that I did not anticipate in my infinite wisdom. It created a group of backers, a group of project champions who are invested not just financially but more importantly morally in the project and its success. The unexpected part of that for me is that we have a group of like-minded individuals who are on the same page on the concept of work in progress. We are really looking forward to releasing some work in progress updates to backers only, and having not just, here's what we have, look at this and tell us how great it is, but actually having a dialogue that allows us to create a better game in the end, which is an awesome thing. So what happens next? The development itself is going on as previously scheduled. We will continue working on all of the tasks as I described in my earlier video, with the only addition of adding the Messerschmitt 262 cockpit to our task list. It will be done by the same people who are now completing the Messerschmitt 109 cockpit. They are German cockpit experts. They previously did the cockpit for the Focke-Wulf 190 D9 Dora, moved on to the 109, and then they're going to move on to 262. They really know German cockpits inside and out, and I'm really looking forward to seeing their work completed. Obviously, we're not going to have any work in progress screenshots of that for about 2 months until it begins to take shape. We will be doing constant development updates, mostly on the landscape and aircraft design. We will also show you some ground vehicles that we're building, some tanks and guns and so on. A lot of you aren't just fans, you're experts in your field, and as was often the case in our past games, we might encounter a situation where you have better reference or better understanding of the subject than we, based on the documents that we have. So that is also another important part of working together. There's also going to be a huge amount of effort needed to be done on my end for all of the Kickstarter obligations that I now have. I have to fulfill all of your different rewards. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done externally before that happens. I need to manufacture t-shirts, print manuals, I need to distribute product keys, and all that sort of stuff. Of course, the most important thing that still needs to be done is for all those of you who selected Matrix style rewards, we need to give you the opportunity to actually select the Matrix items. There is a bit of a nightmare for me personally that has to do with adding PayPal options. PayPal is not nearly as convenient in providing data to me that I can easily manage, because I literally have to manually go through my PayPal account and type in people's names and email address and their amounts and double check and triple check into the database that I'm going to be using to fulfill all of your rewards. So there's probably going to be a week or two before that matrix, that ability to select your rewards, is available to you guys. Of course, those of you who have specifically selected the DCS World P51 as your reward, you should be receiving those keys in your email next week. And those of you who wish to select it in the Matrix option, you will be receiving it right after the Matrix functionality is available. We will be setting up closed forums. We will be providing backer medals to all of the forum users, which there is a little bit of development that needs to be done on the website for us to connect your forum account to your Kickstarter or your PayPal pledge. So that is again something that we're going to be working on. But most other rewards, they will take a little while to produce. And I really want to take the time and maybe spend a little extra money making sure that those rewards are actually good. That when you receive that printed manual or something else that you wish to have physical, that when you receive that printed manual or something else, the physical reward that you received back in this project, that it's actually going to feel like it was worth your pledge, especially if it's something you receive long before the game itself is available. But first things first, Saturday and Sunday I'm gonna shut off the computer and just spend a couple of days just relaxing. So please forgive me if I don't respond to forums or Kickstarter comments or something else. Saturday I'm probably just gonna sleep in and finally get that sleep, and Sunday I'll head out to the beach and just have a nice relaxing day with my wonderful family. And then after that it'll be back to work, back in the saddle. We're going to be doing a lot of development updates. I'm going to be interacting with the community as much as I can. And another reason why I want to do that is because a lot of you are not just fans, you're actually experts in the field. And some of you have access to a lot of the references or objects that we as a team don't have access to, even though the Fighter Collection has a lot of the planes that we're building. We, for example, don't have access to a real Messerschmitt 262. That we're going to make a flyable version with a cockpit. If you have access to a real one, or perhaps a museum, or if you have access to blueprints or any kind of historical document, all of them will come in very handy. Because another difference between DCS World War II and some of the old projects that we're doing is that fidelity is so high, you just really need to have awesome, detailed documentation, preferably real manufacturer blueprints. If there's one thing we learned with DCS World War II as compared to our previous projects, is that the fidelity is so high and the quality of modeling is so high that the requirements to our source documents, to our references, are also extremely high. Most of the references we have saved from our olden days don't really work anymore, because we really need real manufacturing blueprints and real access to the real machines, so we can go and measure things out and photograph them and really have highest level of detail and precision on everything. So I'm sure we're going to have a lot of requests on reference data that I'm going to be posting as things come up. Another huge project that I'm sure we will be doing, and that's probably the biggest contribution most of you will make after your Kickstarter pledges, is our work on the landscape SDK. We kind of stopped talking about it after the last video because I was running around with my hair on fire trying to set up all of these different things for Kickstarter. But now that it's over, we really need to put in as much effort as possible into the landscape SDK. So on our end, we will be preparing the executable itself plus documentation to be released to the public, but we don't have to wait for that to begin our work on a new landscape. We will need to have a discussion on what exactly needs to be done, and of course we will need to have a discussion on what exactly needs to be done. We will obviously need to have lots of discussions and some kind of organizational period where we figure out what and how and who is doing what. But of course, for me personally, the main reason why this SDK is being released at all, or being released right now, is not just so we have some kind of extra that people can goof around with, but I want to have a very targeted effort to create new landscapes for DCS World War II. This could be a community effort to make the game bigger and better. So we'll need to see if there are people who want to work in a more organized fashion. It doesn't mean that we are not going to have some unorganized effort or something unofficial where people just go and goof around and do what they want, but that is less of a priority for me by far. We will need to sit down and have a discussion and decide that whether we want to go and do Southern England, or maybe you want to do Ardennes, or maybe you want to do something else. It has to be a vote, a poll, or some kind of discussion. Then we'll need to decide and see who wants to do that, who wants to do what needs to be done. There's going to be some buildings that we need to do, landscape textures if it looks different from what we're doing in Normandy, and so on. And so this discussion period, followed by period when we gather references, does not require the SDK. This is the preparation, and we can prepare for the SDK release by having everything in place when the SDK is ready, so we can go straight to work. So this kind of preliminary period of preparation is something that needs to take place before the SDK is released, so by the time the SDK is out, we can go straight to work. So this is another thing that is going to happen in the next few days, and I really should have written down things on paper to make sure I don't forget anything for this video, but basically this is what's going to happen in the near future. We are going to be talking about community interaction. We're going to be sharing our development progress and perhaps asking for your guys' feedback on some of the questions that we're not too sure about. We will be having dialogue about the landscape SDK, and we're going to be preparing for the work that we will do as a community, and something that you guys can do just on your own, just to play with things if that's how you want to approach. We're going to be putting in all the groundwork for our backer portal on the web, where you are able to access backer-only content, which Kickstarter is insufficient for, because we also have PayPal backers that by definition have no access to Kickstarter content. We will need to have the interface where you can select and manage your rewards, and so on and so forth. So this is all coming up. It's not going to be ready on day one, it's not going to be ready on October 5th or October 6th, but we're going to be working as much as we can on that. And I will also be working a lot on stuff like t-shirts and posters and printed manuals, and again I'll keep you guys in the loop, and hopefully we're, again, just like we did in Kickstarter, if we notice some kind of errors in my judgment, and if we notice some things that can be done better, it'll be great if we notice it in an early enough stage where I can go back and correct and give all of you backers better rewards in the end. And I don't want to take away from this wonderful moment in the history of World War II flight simulation. I really hope that today is the day when DCS World War II makes itself known, when people understand that this is a product that is really going to happen, and a product that's going to be done well, it's going to be done on time, and the product that's going to have longevity and quality. And it's something that's going to be on the market for a long time. And what's going to happen a little further down the road is something that I kind of mentioned during the Kickstarter campaign, and I just want to specifically state it while we're talking about the future. And it's fitting that I'm wearing this t-shirt, which is my Kickstarter t-shirt, which is what I wore for the first Kickstarter video that I did. But I think this is going to be my Kickstarter t-shirt for important announcements. And I think the next time I'm going to wear it is next year, when we have our alpha available to backers. We have more of a game that people can feel and touch, and we can go back to talking about something that I think most people really want, which is a flyable B-17 flying fortress. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to shut down our PayPal page until further notice. We'll probably do it on Monday and Tuesday when our webmaster can get to it. And then we're just going to stop taking pledges, and we will just concentrate on making the best game that we can make. And once that takes shape and we have a playable build available to backers, I think we will go back to the same process. It will either be via Kickstarter or perhaps via our own site. And it's something that, again, we're not going to keep it under wraps until the day we do a magic reveal. We will be talking about it, we'll have dialogues, and this is something that's definitely in our future. We really want a flyable B-17, but we will not do it today, we'll not tomorrow, or in November. We will do it when we have a playable build of DCS World War II. I think this is the proper way to do it. I think we have not only done what we wanted, we've done more than we wanted in terms of this Kickstarter. And now I think is really the time to stop reaching for the stars and to focus on making sure that we deliver the best game possible to the backers who have already backed the project as it is. So I'm extremely happy, I'm elated with the results, and this is a wonderful thing. The most important part that I think happened is that we now have a close relationship with a like-minded group of fans, and I really want to foster that, and I really want to keep this going and keep our dialogue constant, other than Saturday and Sunday this week when I'm going to rest. Monday we're going to be back to work, and thank you very much for making DCS World War II and the flyable Messerschmitt 262 a reality.